Well, hello, friends. Real quick before we kick off the episode, I have to let you know about something exciting. I am seriously considering having an upgraded version of this podcast where you get bonus episodes and exclusive content. But here's the deal, I'm trying to decide what that content and those episodes should be. I do have some ideas, and I was wondering if you could vote really quick and tell me what you think about what would entice you, what would be interesting to you to get as bonus episodes on this podcast. For example, deeper dives into topics. Maybe I'm answering questions that many of you ask about starting or growing a business. Maybe even overhearing coaching calls, something like this. It would be a paid, upgraded version of this podcast, not very expensive at all, probably just a handful of dollars a month, but it be extra content for you to help you along your journey. My whole goal is to help you build your business dream. And I would love to offer you even more because some of you are asking for it. So if you could just look down in the show notes right now, there's two ways you can give me your answers. Number one, I have a Google form with 5 quick questions. It can be anonymous. You just answer them and vote on what would be interesting to you. Or number two, I have a voice memo system. You can just click it and you could just leave a voice memo with your phone right now and just record it and tell me what kind of topics, what things would be interesting to you behind the scenes, market news, what would be things that would be extra that would be really valuable to you. So thank you all so much. Okay, on to the episode. Well, hello, I'm Kimberly Brock, and for the last 20 years, I've been running my own businesses that have not only been profitable, but personally fulfilling to me. And so now I'm on a mission to help other women just like you do the exact same thing. Now we're going to have some fun, so let's get started. Well, hello, this is Kimberly Brock. It's episode 42. I am so glad that you are here today. I'm talking about the difference between sole proprietorship and LLC. This is such a confusing topic for so many. I get this question all the time. How do I get my business started? What do I need to do to set it up? Today's the day. You're going to hear it. It's not as complicated as it seems, although it is kind of a hefty conversation. So I'm going to try to keep it simple and clear it up for you today. Real quick, before we get started, if you are a new listener, yay, I am so glad that you're here. Each week, I share valuable tips and tools for building a business that you love and creating the impact that you were meant to be making. So thank you so much for being here. Make sure you hit the subscribe button right now so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And if you've been listening a while, you've heard me say this before, right? Would you be so kind to leave a rating right now? All you have to do is go down and hit 5 stars. That would be amazing, right? Hit 5 stars, give me a good rating. And if you have a few minutes to write a review, it is so helpful. It is working and this podcast is being spread. And by you giving a review, it actually bumps it up even more and helps Apple and Spotify spread it to people like us who are just trying to do the right things and build businesses that we love. Thank you all so much for your support, and I appreciate you so much doing that. And as a quick side note too, I have a download for you summarizing this episode, giving you a chart that shows the sole proprietorship on one side, LLC on the other. And it'll just kind of help you get a 10,000-foot view of this and give you an easy reference point. Because as I said, when you listen to this episode, it can be a little confusing. I tried to explain it easy, but sometimes if you just see it on paper and you see it on a chart, you're like, oh, okay, this makes total sense. So I just wanted to let you know ahead of time that that is there and you can download it right now. Thanks so much. Enjoy the episode. Well, hello, everyone. It's Kimberly. I'm so glad that you are here today. We are talking about the most exciting topic ever on this podcast, which is sole proprietors versus LLC. It's an amazing showdown. I'm so excited that you are going to be here. Listen, the good news is after you figure this out, you don't ever have to revisit this topic again, which is the best part. You don't have to. After you know what you're doing, you're done. You can sleep well at night and you don't have to think about it again. Okay, this is the deal. The sole proprietorship and the LLC are extremely similar, but I'm going to give you a spoiler alert of the things that are different so you kind of understand this when you hear the rest of this episode. So again, spoiler alert, number 1, there are no tax benefits of being a single owner sole proprietor versus a single owner LLC. You're not saving any tax money, nothing like that. Again, this is for single owner. You're not saving. So don't worry if you don't have an LLC. It's not costing you extra money to be a sole proprietor. Okay. The second thing I want to say that's a spoiler alert is the biggest difference between the two of a sole proprietor and an LLC is that you have more legal protection. As an LLC, your business is protected from people suing you, and you'll hear more about that in a minute. That is the huge difference. And the third thing I want to say is I am not a CPA. I have not gotten any certifications, and I am simply sharing with you the knowledge that I have based on the research that I've done, based on my personal experience, based on talking to my CPA. But again, this is not in lieu of you going to LegalZoom or a friend that's a CPA or paying your CPA to help you. Make sure you do that. But again, spoiler alert, there is no tax savings between a single owner LLC and sole proprietorship. And the biggest difference is that you are more protected as an LLC. You are. And many people do need to file an LLC at the beginning of their business. So I hope you'll take all of that into consideration when you're listening today. And just know that everybody's situation is unique and different, and you must consult with a CPA or someone to give you the right kind of advice. But hopefully this will help you and make you see that, yeah, you're fine with a sole proprietorship right now, or maybe you need to go ahead and bump up to an LLC. But I want to tell you this off the bat. It can be confusing trying to figure it out. And I want you to know that a lot of people do not need to be an LLC off the bat. So if you are just starting a business, you're just dipping your toe in the water, maybe you're starting some fun business, you're cutting vinyl and putting it on cups, you're heat pressing t-shirts, you're making some kind of jewelry, and you're like, could I keep doing this? This might be fun. I could start this as a side job. You don't need to form an LLC. You simply get your business started. And how do you get your business started? You file a DBA. That's called a doing business as, and that's just filing it with your state government. So for me, I'm in Texas. I file a DBA saying I'm going to do my business as whatever name you want. So for example, in the past, I've had 2 online boutiques in this very room, and kids are fans too. I filed a DBA, doing business as, with both of those. In some states, it's called a fictitious name, but it's just the name that you want to go under so that when you charge people for your vinyl lettering on the cups or your heat pressing on the t-shirts, it's not money going to your name. You're charging them as a business name so you look legit, okay? So that's what a sole proprietorship is. It's putting all your income and all your expenses on your personal taxes. So just like when you have a W-2 and you're reporting income, you will report your business income. Let's say you have $10,000 in sales that year. You report $10,000 in sales. You report all your expenses, and you owe taxes on that net profit. Okay? So sole proprietor, that's all it takes. You don't even have to get a business bank account. But let me say this, that's the bare minimum. Getting your DBA, starting to sell, you start getting income. Okay, done. The next step is to open a bank account. You should have a separate bank account because it makes it so much easier for you to keep track of all your expenses and everything. And I recommend a business credit card as well. Because for me, I've loved it. Every expense, anything I do is on my business credit card. I export it to QuickBooks Online each month, and I can easily categorize and sort and run reports. You could do it the easy way and simply don't get a business credit card. Just get a debit card for your bank account. And when you do that, you'll get expenses. You'll see it on your bank statements, all those expenses. You can log them on a spreadsheet, or I'm sure you can export it from your online bank, and you can start categorizing manually all of your expenses if you don't have that much. You may not have that much, so it's super easy. But at the very least, you have to get a DBA. I would get a bank account. Okay, do those 2 things. That's what you need to do. You're a sole proprietorship, you're making money. Then, if it gets to the point where maybe you're making $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, you should probably get an LLC at that point. Now, can you get an LLC at the beginning right now and go ahead and form an LLC? You can. And here's why. An LLC's biggest advantage is that it gives your business limited liability, meaning if someone were to sue your business, it is limited to the business liability and the business assets and the funds that you have put into the business versus them also being able to go after your personal assets.
So for example, you print vinyl on cups for fun and you're like, I'm just starting this. I'm going to get my DBA. My name's Veronica, Veronica's Vinyl Cups. I'd print it. Customer buys a cup from me and is drinking out of the cup and it breaks off into my mouth and I choke on it and I had hospital expenses and I'm going to sue you now for my hospital expenses. If you just have a sole proprietorship, they can sue you and you can pay them out of your business. But let's just say your business didn't have that much money to cover it. They can then go to your personal assets and get the money that way. If you are a limited liability, they cannot. They can only go and access the funds and sue you for what you have in the business and the assets that you have in the business. They can't go outside of that. So you are protected. So that is the main advantage to having an LLC. Some people may not need this. Maybe you're not selling something that anyone could get hurt. Maybe you don't have much money to form an LLC anyways, because it does cost at least a few $100s to do so. You're just dipping your toe in the water. You don't really know if this is serious business. You don't need to file an LLC, but a lot of people do because it protects you from the very beginning. No one can come and sue you beyond what your business can pay out. Also, the flip side too is, let's say if you have an LLC and say you are driving down the road and you cause a wreck, you're not even on business hours, you're not doing anything for business, it's personal, you get in a wreck, and if somebody wants to sue you personally because you hit them, they cannot also access funds from your business. It's limited. Limited liability means that business is not liable and not available to pay out a personal lawsuit. So it goes both ways, that someone, if they sue you for business purposes, can only take what is in the business. And if someone sues you personally, they can only sue you personally and they can't access the business because you have regarded it as a specific entity. It is official and it's a real business. And that's what the LLC is going to do for you. In addition, an LLC, if you get big enough, it can save you money. I'm not going to go into all the details, but you can elect to be viewed as an S Corp. And at that point, there are tax benefits in certain situations. It's not for everyone. Like my husband invests in real estate in Houston and he flips some houses and he has renters in some houses, and it is not beneficial for him to be an S Corp. He is just an LLC. We found out recently someone had told him he should be an S Corp and he shouldn't. And long story, my point is not everyone is made to be an S Corp to get those tax benefits, which brings me to my next point. Even if you're a sole proprietor or just a regular LLC, you are getting no secret tax benefits. There's nothing that's really benefiting you money-wise or tax-wise. It's simply for the liability and also for the future ability to be categorized or elected as a different form, like an S Corp, that could save you money in the long run. But you are still considered self-employed if you are a sole proprietor and an LLC sole proprietor, right? If you're just a single owner LLC, or if you're a sole proprietor, you are self-employed. The tax rate is the same. It's on your personal taxes. Whatever your tax bracket is right now is what you pay taxes on the profits from your business. Plus, you pay self-employment tax, which is a whopping 15.3%. Depending on whatever tax bracket you are in, add that to 15.3%, and that is your total tax that you owe on your profits for your business. So let's say you have Veronica's Vinyl Cups and you sell $10,000 in a year. And let's just say you're in the 12% tax bracket. So that's $1,200 plus you owe 15.3% self-employment tax. So what is that? $1,530 plus the $1,200. So that's $2,700 that you owe in taxes on your profits as a self-employed person, whether you are a sole proprietor or an LLC. There is no tax benefit, and you are still getting to deduct the same taxes either way. So much is the same. And I know I joked at the beginning that they're pretty much the same except for a few major differences. Again, It's the liability. That's the big deal. And it makes your business more official because from everything that I've read and heard, you are a little more, I don't want to say suspicious, but you're a little more flagged for an audit as a sole proprietor than you are for an LLC. And there's reasons for that because as an LLC, you've taken official steps to make this a legit business. When you file for an LLC, which you can do yourself through your local government, your state, you file that. You file these articles of organization, you pay a few $100s, and now you're required to fill out these reports each year. You have to do some legal things each year. It's not a big deal. It's not that much at all, but you do have to pay the money. And so there's a little bit more work with it. And my CPA, for example, though, says she charges the same whether it's a sole proprietor or an LLC. So that doesn't matter. It's more that you have to do a little more legwork. It's a little more official. And then you get to use the word LLC after your name. So it looks even more a little official than just a sole proprietorship. But I'm saying just a sole proprietorship. I was a sole proprietor for a very long time. When I started my business with a friend, we were considered a partnership. Okay. So basically, we just did it the same as if we were sole proprietors. We just took all the income minus all the expenses, had our net profit, split that, and we each put that on our personal taxes, a Schedule C. We did that. Then when I broke off on my own and took the business online, I was just then converted to a sole proprietor. I was a sole proprietor for a long time. And then remember, as I said, I had two businesses. I had In This Very Room. Then I started Kids Are Fans Too later. I got my DBA for that. I'm still a sole proprietor for that. Still pay all the same taxes. Still have all the deductions. Nothing's different. But eventually I did file an LLC and put both my businesses under the LLC. Same thing on my taxes, although your return is a separate return and it's hard to explain, but when you're doing it, even though it's still on the Schedule C, it kind of creates a separate return on there because again, this is more official. You're a business. It's not all lumped in to your personal taxes. It's a separate return. So that's the difference. It didn't save me any money. It didn't do anything. I never elected to be an S corp, but I was protected. And the reason I did it was because I lived in Colorado at the time when I filed it and it was snowing a lot. There was ice on our sidewalks and I was shipping out so many boxes and products every day that the UPS man would come pick up and USPS guy, my mailman would have to come pick up tons of boxes from my doorstep because I did everything out of my home. And I was terrified if he slipped and fell and I was going to get sued. I mean, even though he was on the job, could I have really gotten sued? I don't know. It just scared me to death because I had all these people delivering every day. And I thought, what if my husband doesn't get the ice up or we don't shovel good enough and somehow we get sued? At least I was protected from my house getting taken away from me where it was only going to be suable. Is suable a word? That my business was only suable and not all our personal assets. So you can see why in that case, we did it as well. And now I'm sitting here wondering too if I should have been an S corp, but that's a whole nother story. But with this business here, my CPA recommended I start as an LLC. So this business that I have right here, you'll see on my website, says Kimberly Brock LLC. That's what I am. So I do want to protect myself. We have lots of assets. My husband has his LLC. There's stuff going on that it is scary. You don't want to not be protected. But again, I'm in this and I've started a podcast and I'm doing all these things. This is a serious thing. This isn't just me doing something on the side to test it out and see if I want to keep doing it. If you are in that situation right now, if you are in a situation where you're just doing something fun, it's a side hustle, you've got time, I'm telling you, there's no better time than right now to start your business. If you are considering doing it, it's COVID, you're at home anyway, start your darn business. Whether you make socks, you make baby hats, you make cupcakes, you sew, whatever you do, start doing it. All you have to do is file a DBA, start your business. I would recommend opening a business bank account. Just so you have one, you can use a debit card, put a set amount of money in there. Say I'm going to start out with $1,000 and I'm going to grow it from there and see what happens. As your business grows, you get people on your email list. You're like, I love this. I'm creating a business. Then you can move to an LLC. So that would be my recommendation. Here's kind of the four tests. This is your litmus test. If you don't know it's a viable business yet, if you're just testing it out, like the example that I said, stick with being a sole proprietor. If you don't have any, income yet, you don't have any sales, any of that stuff, just start with a sole proprietorship and get yourself going and make sure you like it. Number 2, how much of a budget do you have? If you really don't have money to spend on forming an LLC right now, as I said, it'll be at least a few $100s, then don't do it right now. Just wait a little bit longer, feel this out, make sure you're doing the right thing, get some sales so you can afford to set it up. Number 3, are you in an industry that gets sued a lot or that could be sued? If you are, start an LLC right away, protect yourself right away. I do know that. And if your business goals, this is the 4th test, if your business goals are to have employees, for sure you have to get an LLC. If you want to have investors, you have to be an LLC, right? If you want to make this a multi-million-dollar business, of course you have to be an LLC. And I would tell you, if you're making $30,000 a year, you need to get an LLC. And again, if you're just starting, it could be like me, where you would be advised to start as an LLC right away. I hope this clears it up a little bit. It's a little confusing, isn't it? It's just kind of crazy. But just know that going from sole proprietor to LLC is not saving you any money. It's not giving you any new deductions. It's not some like Disney pass where you go to the front of the line. All it is making your business more legit. And it's also protecting you. It's giving you that limited liability coverage. And it's a great thing. Now, if you're going to hire employees, you're going to do all that. If this is a big deal, you are going to create an LLC. That's what you're going to do. So I've put a summary down below. If you're confused or still just kind of want to look at it with your eyeballs, I understand. I put a summary below to help you. I hope this cleared it up a little. Is it clear as mud? Anyways, most people that are just starting, beginning, it's sole proprietor, but then others of you, depending on your situation, are going to need to start it as an LLC. I hope that helps. Thank you so much. And are you in my Facebook group yet? Please tell me you are. If you're not, I would love for you to join. There's a link below. It's for women who are in business. Yes, building businesses that we love and trying to make the impact that we know that we are meant to be making. So I hope you'll join us. We love to help each other. I'm in there a lot, and I would love to communicate with you too and hear about your business. So please click the link below to apply and join. And that is it. Until next week, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day. Bye.
Now, this episode may be over, but our relationship does not have to end here. Head on over to KimberlyBrock.com, and yes, you can get more valuable information for your journey. And you know what? You don't need to go through this alone. I would love to help you. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye.